Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So in this video, I'm going to be going over my TBR for the Olympics Readathon for the month of June. This is my very first readathon ever, and I'm super excited to join in. I know it's going to be a lot of fun. This is a readathon that's taking place in the month of month. This is a readathon that's taking place in the Shelf Space Discord in the month of June. Basically, we're all going to be put into different teams, and you have to try to read as many books as you can, trying to fill out as many prompts as you can to try and get as many points as you can. Just a fun little competition in the Discord community to try and inspire people like me to read more. And all of the different prompts are based on different Greek mythological figures. There's 16 prompts, and in order to obtain the points for all of the prompts, you would theoretically have to read 16 books. That's not going to happen, but my plan is to read somewhere between 12 and 14 and try to get points for around 12 or 14 prompts. That's the plan, at least. So like I said, for this video, I'm just going to quickly mention all of the books that I plan on getting to in the month of June to satisfy these different prompts. And these are the books that hopefully I can get to. Hopefully. Let's put these down. I still can't get over the fact that I literally said the month of month. So the first prompt here is Zeus, read a book that features a kingdom or patriarchy. And this fits perfectly with the book that I already planned on reading in the month of June, and that would be 12 Kings and Cherokee by Bradley P. Bulio. This will be a reread for me, one of my all-time favorite fantasy books, and it's clearly a patriarchy, 12 Kings, so it fits. It's also the book that Elle from Elliot Books... God, I can't talk. Elle from Elliot Brooks and Jessie from Jessie Mae, they're going to buddy read this in June, and I'm very anxious to see what they think of it. And the next prompt is Poseidon, read a book with water, aka oceans, rivers, lakes, any kind of water. And for this prompt, it's a very good excuse to read one of my all-time favorite authors, a book that I have yet to read by him, Windhaven by George R.R. Martin, a standalone fantasy. And this book fits perfectly for this prompt because the setting is literally just an archipelago of islands. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's mostly water. Very excited to read this. And the next prompt is Hades, read a book with the undead or ghost theme. And for this one, this next book fits a lot of different prompts, but when I was kind of configuring everything, it just works out this way. I'm going to go with The Queen of Blood. This could have been the pick for first book in a fantasy series or even a matriarchy, but this book also happens to have ghostly spirits in it that are basically trying to get rid of these humans because the humans are kind of like taking over the forest, I think. So that fits, right? The next prompt is Hastia, read a book with the found family trope. And this book I already planned on rereading, and it fits perfectly. And that would be The Blood of Elves, the first book in the main Witcher series. Definitely a found family trope here with Geralt, Ciri, Dandelion, Yennefer, the whole gang. Found family trope. Boom. God, I'm going to butcher these names. The next prompt is Hephaestus? I don't know. Read a book with fire on the cover or in the title. And this was a little hard to find, but I did find one with fire on the cover. Not fantasy, but it doesn't matter. Arsenic and adobo. And there's fire right there. That's it. The next prompt is Dionysus. Read a book with red or white on the cover. And again, very simple prompt, and I'm going to go with The Bone Shard Daughter. Prominently red, right there. This is a debut fantasy book that I'm very excited to read. I've heard nothing but great things, so hopefully it's good. The next prompt is Hermes. Read a book involving travel, vacation, or quest. And for this prompt, this is technically a reread, although I've never read this version of it, and that would be the Hedge Knight graphic novel by George R. R. Martin. It's the first novella in George R. R. Martin's Duncan Egg Tales, or the first novella in his collection, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, although this is the graphic novel version of it, which I'm not really into graphic novels, but I'm going to give this one a shot, and it also allows me to get some more points for a prompt while also reading a very short book. So, yay me. The next prompt is Artemis. Read a book with moon or night in the cover or title. And for this one, I'm going to go with one of my all-time favorite authors, Ray Bradbury. S is for space. And you can see a little tiny moon right there. So it fits. It's a very old short story collection. I'm sure I'm going to love it because I love all his short story collections. Not too much to say about it, so yeah. The next prompt is Apollo. Read a book in a non-traditional format. So something like verse, mixed media, graphic novel, comic book, novella, anything like that. And for this one, I'm going to go with another George R. R. Martin story. I've read the short story, but this is actually a comic book, and it is Meat House Man. It's already one of the weirdest, most fucked up stories I've ever read, and when I heard that there was a comic book edition, I had to get my hands on it, and flipping through it, yeah. If you want to read a truly messed up story, read this book, because it's yeah. The next prompt I have is Aries. Read a military-centered fantasy or sci-fi book. I'll be honest, I don't really have a lot of those, and just in general, I'm not a huge fan of them. I will say I just read the Poppy War trilogy, and that probably could have counted, but I've already read it. The next prompt after that is Aphrodite. Read a book with a beautiful cover, and of course this can be very subjective, but for me, this gives me an excuse to read a book I've had for a while, a book of the month club pick that I never read, and that would be The Push, which, very pretty cover. And I can't really talk about it because I actually have no idea what this book is about. So I'm going to jump in very blind, and hopefully it's good. The next prompt is Hera. Read a book that features a queendom or matriarchy. Now, for this series, it might be a little bit of a spoiler to say that this does happen. So, I guess mild spoiler warning? I don't know. But I'm going to go with Age of Death, which is the 5th book in Michael J. Sullivan's Legends of the First Empire series. Now, I won't say who exactly becomes queen or like the leader of a group of people. That might be spoilery, but it happens. The next prompt is Demeter. Read a book with food on the cover. Now, in the Discord server, there were a lot of people complaining that like none of their books have food on the covers. And I would definitely agree with that. I definitely had a hard time finding one. But when I did, I was pleasantly surprised because it's one of my all-time favorite authors, and that would be The Third Wife by Lisa Jewell. And there's food all up in this, including on the wall. The hell's going on? And the next prompt is Athena. Read a book with political intrigue. I'm sure some of the books that I have here do have political intrigue, but, you know, the books that I picked also fit different prompts, and I'm not really sure if I can add another book to this TBR, so for now, it's going to remain empty, but if I have time, I'll try to include one. The next prompt is Eos. Read a first book in a series, and for this one, I'm very excited because I'm going to be reading Foundry Side. I loved City of Stairs by Robert Jackson Bennett, and from what I hear about this book, it's going to be fun. I've heard mixed reviews about it, mainly because of the characters and the humor, but from what I've heard about it, it's going to be right up my alley. And the last prompt is Nyx. Read a book that is the last in a series or duology. And I'll be honest, I'm a huge fantasy fan, but I don't really have a lot to choose from when it comes with last books in a series because I'm either like caught up on the series or I've only read the first book. So it's slim pickings. But I'm going to think a little bit out of the box here and I'm going to go with Agatha Christie's Curtain, which is the last book chronologically in the Hercule Poirot series. I originally wanted to read this book last, but I mean, there's like 40 Hercule Poirot books, and at this point, I've read about 20, maybe even like 25. You know, that's plenty. I'm just gonna go jump into this, and hopefully it's very good. I've heard mixed things, so here's hoping. All right, so that was my long TBR list for the Olympics Readathon. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you love them, if you hate them, if you're kind of meh about them. Either way, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching and have a terrific day.